Well, the time has come. Time to pull the engine out. It's going to go to Performance Clinic in Beaver Creek, Ohio. It's going to get rebuilt. Trying to find a Y2 460 cubic inch crank. It has a 429 crank in it now. If I can find a 460 crank that's in good condition, I'll buy it. Get a few cheap extra horsepower out of it. I've thought about finding a bigger crank like a 502 or a 514, 521 crank, but it's just not going to happen right now financially. Pulling a lot of strings together to get just the rods and pistons motor put together. I got a full billet CNC machined front drive assembly, so all that ugliness is going away. Got a 2 3/4 inch core high performance radiator set up for 1000 horsepower. Dual spout fans. I think they're 16 and 1700 CFM a piece. Getting rid of the Motorcraft Durspark ignition system. Going to go with some 8mm, not 7mm wires. MSD. Everything's going to be MSD. Getting the already have the MSD Pro billet distributor, their coil, and the 6AL box. I would have got the 7AL box, but the 7AL runs a little bit hot on the street, so to protect my investment, get something a little more reasonable. Going to clean up all this wiring over here. There's the control box or relay box, whatever the hell it is, for the electronic fans. Since I've owned the vehicle, this fan has never worked. It was burned out by someone who didn't know what they were doing. This fan really doesn't keep up. It's the only one that works. And you can see there's a 1/2 inch space between the fan and the radiator from the person that owned it before me that installed it when they converted it to electric fans. They obviously did not do a good job. My new radiator and fan shroud is 100% sealed. Well, not like 100% sealed, but it butts right up against the radiator. There is less than a millimeter width between the shroud edges and the radiator, so all the air is going to go through the fans, increasing my cooling capacity tenfold to make as much horsepower as I wish for. Probably going to do some stainless steel custom headers. I know stainless steel is freaking retarded in price right now, but I like the way it looks. When it goes through a few heat cycles, that nice blue, bronzy, goldish color. If not, I might get some mild steel long tube custom headers made and set those up with some powder coating. Just make it look real nice under here. I'm going to rebuild the short block here. Like I said, rods and pistons. Going to be a forged rod, ARP 2000 rod end bolts, so the rods will hold up to about 1200 crank horsepower. But I'm not shooting for that. Shooting for around 550 crank horsepower, around 575, 600 foot-pounds of torque if we can. Going with what I'm told by the builder, Greg Burba, that owns Performance Clinic. He says it's going to be a custom grind comps cam, billet steel camshaft, camcore, whatever the hell it is you want to call it. It's going to have a real nice lopey idle to it. I'm going to have to do about a 25 to 2800 stall converter in it. The cam's going to have to idle around 1000 to 1200 RPMs, so that's not too bad, I guess. I have from CVF Racing, like I said, the full CNC build aluminum machined drive system, new water pump, get rid of that ugly dingy one. The engine and everything is going to be cleaned up, repainted and such. I have Edelbrock Performer 75cc. I think the part number is 60079 heads for it. Edelbrock Performer 460 intake manifold, Wilson manifolds, 1 inch beveled CNC machined spacer to get myself a little extra plenum volume, but nothing too crazy. I believe where I was going is I'm probably going to do away with the power steering, free up all this area over here, free up about the 10 horsepower that the power steering takes up, and probably going away with the power brakes and switch into a manual brake setup. The hood will go back on. I'm going to be pulling off the wipers, the wiper control system and such, because I don't even have a wiper motor for it anymore. This is not a drive in the rain vehicle. Going to be pulling out the AC lines there, getting rid of the evaporator core. I might put heat back in it. Not sure yet. I'll make that decision here in a couple months when I get the engine back. Probably going to go from a 750 to a 800, maybe a 850 CFM carburetor. Just depends on what the new engine likes when we put it together. But most likely it's going to be around an 800, 830, maybe an 850. Keep it reasonable. Greg said it'll take a 900 or 950 to make peak horsepower, but I like some street drivability and low-end performance because I'm not going to be spending all my time in the high RPMs. From LMR, go to the back of the car here, up underneath. Probably can't see that very well, but got a brand new EFI style fuel tank on the way. This is a carburetor style fuel tank, and it's the original one to the car. Forgive my mess down here. It's been a very, very hectic 3 weeks since last time I was able to work in the garage. So don't give me shit for this. It's going to be cleaned up in the morning. But got an EFI style fuel tank on the way. Doing one of Holley's 525 liter per hour in-tank retrofit pumps that work specifically with the fuel tanks in these cars. I don't know if I've shown the interior. The interior is 100% stock. Aside from that aftermarket shifter there, and this aftermarket inside the car cross brace. Other than that, it's a little sun faded. I need to get some different seats simply because I don't know if you can tell, the driver's seat's twisted. I exceeded the weight limit on it one day when it decided to run right. But that right there is the worst spot in the entire interior. Other than that, it's 100% stock. I'd like to keep it that way, but I'm probably going to go with some performance seats and a harness bar. And a rear seat delete. But from LMR, got a brand new fuel tank on the way. I already have brand new fuel lines. Going to run dash 8 to the front, dash 6 for a return since I'm staying carbureted. Don't need to maintain as much line pressure. Inline serviceable fuel filters. Return style, probably air motive fuel regulator. Probably going to mount the fuel regulator probably right here in this area. It might go up here, but I do believe I'm probably going to put the MSD ignition up here. I may want to race this thing every once in a while on the weekends, so probably not going to put the regulator onto the firewall because that is not NHRA or tech legal. Whatever it is, the Holley fuel pump I'm using will support, it says, up to 1400 carbureted horsepower, but my knowledge of how engines work and how fast engines run out of fuel, probably it'll support up to about 800 or 900 horsepower. I already have the 325 pump, but I'm just going to simply exchange it for the 525 pump. I don't know if you guys can tell, nice paint here on the fender. Someone tried doing some paint correction here, previous owner, didn't go so well. Next season I'm going to get it completely painted, going to stay with black. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with these louver quarter windows. I might go to a full glass panel, might not. I'd like to be able to hide the sun fadedness on the plastic here. I'm torn with the idea of back halving the car. As you can see, it's a little faded on the top of the seat here from sitting in the sun for a good while. Has a lot of spots from sap sitting on top of the car for about 2.5 years. It was sitting still for about 2.5 years with the previous owner. He got it running for this past season. I bought it near the end of the season, needing a lot of work, so I got it for a decent deal. But probably going to stay with black Probably going to redo the pinstripes, just have it look 100% original. But I will be getting a drag pack for it. If I have to roll the fenders, I will. Don't want to, but I will if I have to. But it needs some more meat on the back, and I'm going to narrow the tire up front. It has 225 wides all the way around. I believe they are 225 55 16s. Going to keep these tires for during winter, and keep the soft tires in the basement during the cold months of the winter. Apparently soft tires don't like staying outside in the cold, and they don't like sitting still very long with weight on them. So going to keep these wheels and tires for winter time. They don't look bad, but can't really get a tire that I want on the rear or on the front with these wheels. And going to manual steering, I need to take a couple inches off the front. As you guys can see, the body's fairly nice. The car's fairly nice. All stock interior. The center cap on the steering wheel broke off right pretty much on the ride home. The day I bought it, that was unfortunate. Don't like that faded spot. And just nice stock interior. Gets the job done. The door's still closed, nice and positive, but it's time to rebuild it. Has a lot of blow by. Just hasn't ran right since I got it. It needs all sorts of issues. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions in the way the build should go, let me know. I'm kind of setting my goals for the vehicle. I know what I want for it. I already have pretty much all the parts. Ain't nobody sponsoring my ass, and I don't really need a sponsor. I make enough money. Takes a little while to collect all the parts, but I make enough money. What's this here? That's just a little bit of water from where I was driving it earlier, and it started raining on the way home. Had to get the motor through a heat cycle to get the flush work through it, and about to flush the system one more time, get as much coolant out of there as possible for the teardown, make everything real nice, easy, clean, less sticky and such. I do have low car throttle cable, nice braided stainless steel throttle cable, getting rid of that junk there, getting rid of that junk there, getting rid of that junk there. Have a real nice 4150 flange, side mount, carburetor mount, whatever it is you want to call it, throttle cable bracket with the dual return spring. Going to clean that up real nicely. Some nice fabricated valve covers. Like I said, I plan to do away with the power brakes. I'm going to be the only one driving it, so I know what to expect. Don't have to worry about somebody borrowing the car, driving the car one day, not knowing what to expect, not knowing how to handle it, and then wrecking it. Insurance wouldn't be happy at that point. I wouldn't be happy either. But enough rambling. Time to get this pig working and running right. Too much damn money, but keeps my mind busy and out of the dark areas of my mind. That's what matters, right? Have a good day, YouTube. Please like, comment, and subscribe.